You are listening to RAJRADIO.
Guys, I have never been more frustrated in my entire fucking life, dude. This is like the fucking worst. I am so beyond fucking frustrated right now. I don't even know if there's a word to describe. I'm tilted. I'm tilted. That's the word to describe the feeling I'm feeling right now. I am fucking tilted. This is legitimately the 6th or 7th time I have tried to record this podcast. And every time I had been talking for damn near 30 to 40 minutes, and then the whole thing just gets fucked somehow in the recording process. Like the last time that I recorded this, I went for 30 goddamn minutes. 30 fucking minutes. And then at the end of the recording, I played everything back, and it sounded like a sped up and chopped version of Alvin and the fucking Chipmunks. I was so goddamn frustrated, man. My voice hurts. If you can't tell by now, like my voice is giving out. Fuck, dude. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna make sure this is the one right here. Give me 1 sec. Okay, this is the one right here. I'm not gonna fuck this one up. I think this is definitely gonna be the one. It looks like Adobe Audition is actually recording me correctly this time, so I'm just not going to pay attention to the time. I'm just going to close my eyes, and I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to fucking talk. I'm alone in a goddamn house with a mic to myself. I don't know who's going to listen to this. Hopefully somebody is going to listen to this. But today, I'm going to be talking about my time and my experience as a Team Fortress 2 YouTuber. That's right. This is something that I've been doing for the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years of my life. I've never taken another job. I've been offered positions actually in the past, and I've denied it because I've always wanted to be a Team Fortress 2 YouTuber. I've always wanted to do this. I thought that making the money that these people make doing these videos, like Star and Germa at the time, I thought that was dope. I thought not having a boss was sick as fuck. And I thought the concept and the freedom of being a YouTuber is everything that I could ever want as a creative in life. So yeah, this is what I did. For the past 4 to 5 years, I had been creating TF2 content. And for about, I would say, half of those years, my content was on this channel, this very channel you're listening to this podcast on, the RNG podcast. This channel used to be called The Wounded Stapler. And for the longest time, I had been making commentary videos on this channel solely about my life, about my dreams, my goals, different things I wanted. Maybe sometimes I'd do story time videos, and maybe sometimes I'd even actually make separate channels and make motivational videos. And overall, I had developed over 500 videos on this YouTube channel. I think maybe only about 30 to 40 of them are currently available for you to look at. Everything else has been unlisted. Unless you were there to see it when it first dropped, you would have no idea about these videos. So the reason why I bring up this metric of 500 videos is that I want to illustrate the point to you guys that it takes about 10,000 hours to master a craft, or to say that you're the master of a craft. To me, I think video creation is a craft. And I think every single time you make a video, I'm not gonna speak on behalf of everybody else. I don't know how other people kind of look at this, but the way that I look at it is that every single attempt that I have to make a video is another chance at perfecting my craft, another chance of learning a new skill set. So when I first started making videos, and like I was saying, I was doing commentary-based videos, I basically wanted to switch over from commentary videos to more character-based videos. And that ultimately led me to start King Raja, right? So to get into the kind of nitty gritty of like my TF2 career, everything kind of started for me when I made my first facecam video and I uploaded it onto a site called TF.TV. Now the thing is, TF.TV is a competitive TF2 site, which means what, people? It means that they are fucking elitist motherfuckers. They do not care about some casual motherfucker in some weird Halloween server with a face cam, right? But for me, the case was different. I had uploaded my video on their website and they fucking loved it. They loved my personality. They loved the video. They loved the concept. They loved the naivety of me being like a first-time TF2 player. This eventually led to me continuing to post videos on that website and then making more and more TF2 content. I ended up posting my videos over to RTF2, and during this time, I had a lot of people come up to me in the game who recognized me from my posts, and they were giving me all kinds of advice and tips, and every day I was making new videos. But it got to this point where I oversaturated myself with the content. Like, I was making too much content that was really trash, and I was constantly promoting the trash, and people got very sick and tired of like seeing my promotions. They got sick and tired of seeing my videos. They got sick and tired of all that shit, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I was making bad content, and I was trying very hard to replicate that first time that I got a lot of fucking buzz, and I kept trying to replicate that over and over again. And that was a really big mistake I made when I first started making TF2 videos. But by doing that, constantly promoting myself, I ended up meeting Dylan Berry, who I do the RNG podcast with. You guys know him as Grizzly Berry, and he's one of my lifelong best friends. I personally feel like he's a great guy. Love K2, his girlfriend. Great couple, and great people in general. And I met him through lying and promoting my content on Reddit. So, in a way, there is a caveat to being a fucking liar and to, being like a shameless whore promoting content, right? You get to meet really good fucking people doing this. But I remember I promoted my content so much to the point where this one guy in a post straight up said that I was the worst and most unoriginal content creator he has ever fucking seen. The worst and the most unoriginal content creator that this man has ever fucking seen. That hurt when I first got that comment. And I remember listening and reading to more of what he had to say. And he went on to say that one day he could see me being at the top of YouTube, on the front page of the website, if I started making better content. So I asked him what that was. What does it mean to make better content? He basically told me that in order to create better content, I have to stop trying so hard to be like other people. I have to stop creating boring ass fucking commentary videos. I have to take risks and I have to try different things. So from that point onwards, I started working on different characters, right? So initially, I made this character called Pinku, who was this little kid. Hello, my name is Pinku. And it's like, actually the name is based off of a family friend that I know in real life. He was a little kid named Pinku, and it was his nickname. So I used the same nickname for my character. And then I started working on my old man character, Jalopy. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm Jalopy. I'm fucking up the voice right now. Honestly, I took 4 fucking takes of this podcast, so my voice is pretty much drained. But basically, the point of me illustrating that is I started really taking risks, and I started making content that I've never made before. And it was the scariest fucking thing in the world, man. I remember making these videos and uploading them, and people would tell me that they were fucking awful. But I started also getting people telling me that they were really fucking good. And then they laughed at the impressions that I was doing. And I had other people telling me that it was super cringe and too try hard. It was crazy. I had a lot of mixed comments at the time. But it was different than the comments I was normally getting. Because the comments I was normally getting is people who loved me and who enjoyed the stuff that I was making. Again, granted, I had 300 subscribers, so the fan base I had was very small, but those were the comments I was getting. Now the comments I was getting was more hateful, and it was more skeptical of who I was and what I was trying to do. And I fucking loved that. I fucking love that. I love the fact that I was receiving hate. I love the fact that I was receiving pushback, because it meant that for the first time in my entire career making YouTube comments, that was the first time that I knew that I was doing something right. Because this meant that something I was creating was so diversive. It's so, I wouldn't say diverse. That's not even the right word. It's so abrupt compared to the normal flow of content that you see, that it made people kind of scratch their head and go, what the fuck am I looking at? What the fuck am I watching? And I love that. I love that aspect of it, that I was able to kind of shake things up for them. So when I started getting all the hate, I kept making content. I kept making that same type of content. I was doing more jalopy videos. I was doing more Pinku videos. And eventually, as time went on, I started making Raja videos. And my first ever Raja video was playing this really horrible fucking game called Red Saber 2. And it was me playing as this character, trying the game for the first time. And I met some people in voice chat, and I was trolling them with the Indian accent. And it was fucking hilarious, man. It was a great fucking video. It only got like 2,000 views, but anyone who watched that video fucking loved that video. And it motivated me. It really motivated me. Like, this is the next thing for me, like this accent. But at the time, I didn't have the idea to really make it its own channel until one of the most pivotal moments in my YouTube career happened. So at the time, I met Dylan through Reddit, through a self-promotion post I made. Me and him became good friends, so we started collabing. So Dylan ended up meeting a guy named Scotcha, who we would all come to know as like the saltiest motherfucker on earth. In reality, he's a fucking sweetheart, but this is back then, right? So Scotcha met up with Dylan, and they became really good fucking friends. Scott didn't like me at the time, and it was mainly because I was really fucking annoying, and also I was making really shitty content. Both of those things combined, I can understand how you could hate somebody like that. You know, so it makes sense. But the reason I say that is one day, Dylan actually got Scott to give me an opportunity on his series at the time, which was MVM with YouTubers. It was one of the first ever times that idea was ever created, and it was from Scotcha. He was the original owner of that idea. So when he made it, he wanted basically a bunch of different YouTubers to start collabing with him on it, and he wanted me to collab with him on the video because I could get a lot of exposure. I only had like 300 views at the time, and this is when Dylan released his holiday video and shot up to like 1,000 subscribers, right? So I was really jealous. Like, I wanted to beat Dylan. I wanted to get to where he was at. And I remember at the time, Scotcha invited me to this MVM with YouTubers, but I couldn't make it because I couldn't figure out how the fuck Skype worked. My dumbass at the time couldn't figure out how the fuck Skype worked. Fucking Skype, dude. Goddamn Skype ruined my one chance at a collab, and I hated myself for it. I resented myself for it. You know, it was one of those things where, like, I think about all the time, and I'm just like, man, fuck. Like, life would have been so different had I gotten that opportunity, right? But I didn't make it on time, and guess who took my spot? Fucking Array7. Array7 took my spot in MVM with YouTubers because initially I was supposed to take his spot, but he figured out Skype quicker than me, logged in, boom, he got into it. So yeah, that was one of the things that really changed everything for YouTube for me, because that's when I realized that my grind at being a YouTuber was pointless. And what I really needed to do was let go of this idea that I was going to be successful. And I need to let go of this idea that I want viewers and subscribers, and I just need to get the fuck out of my own way. And I just have to create shit that I think is genuinely funny. And at the time, Raja was the funniest fucking thing in the world to me. Doing Jalopy and doing Pinku were the funniest fucking things in the world to me. I loved those characters. I loved building it. Even though other people didn't like it, I loved it, which is why I made the content, right? So I decided, fuck it. I'm going to make King Raja. I'm going to make this a thing. So this happened when one day me and Dylan were playing in Viaduct, and I said the phrase, "Look at me, I am Spy Raja Spy. Look, I'm Spy Raja Spy." I said that shit, and he laughed, and I started laughing, and it was really fucking stupid. It was a dumb moment in retrospect, looking back at it. It really wasn't that funny, but at the time, it was really funny, and I decided, fuck it. I'm going to make this a YouTube video, so I worked really fucking hard. I made this video called Spy Raja Spy, and I decided to make my own separate YouTube channel away from the Wounded Stapler called King Raja Games. And I made the channel art for it, I made the profile picture, and I made a separate Reddit account called I Am King Raja Games, Ask Me Anything. And the reason why all of these things kind of came together was because I've had experience making fake Reddit accounts to boost my shit. So I knew how to post on Reddit. I knew how to get to the front page. At the same time, I'd been working on these characters because nothing else worked for me. So King Raja was like the natural transition. So a lot of the things that I was doing back then ended up playing out in the future tense. So when I created Spy Raja Spy, I dropped it. It fucking hit the front page of Reddit. And I remember getting over 5,000 subscribers within 3 fucking days. 5,000 subscribers. No, not 3 days. I think it might have just been 1 day. In 1 day, I got 5,000 subscribers. My next fucking video was my 5,000 milestone video. That was my next fucking video. And I made that at 10,000 subscribers, which I had gotten in a week of making content. And this is coming from a dude that had 300 subscribers making fucking shit tier commentaries, you know, being told that he would never go anywhere, suddenly overnight, sky fucking rocketing. It was insane. It was fucking crazy. I had never seen something like that before. And one of the greatest things that happened from that was I met Muselk, right? I met Muselk, I met Uncle Dane, I met so many other TF2 YouTubers, and I started collabing with all of these motherfuckers. I started bringing them all together. I started putting them in different videos. I started putting Muselk in my videos as different bits. I started putting Uncle Dane in certain bits. Every video I made was like a storyline. Like King Raja was going on this epic fucking adventure, and you were following along as a viewer, and the video would take so many twists and turns, and I would really fuck with the general formula for a YouTube video at the time. I will go ahead and say this, and this is going to sound really fucking conceited, but I had went from being the most unoriginal YouTuber of all time to becoming the most original and successful YouTuber seemingly overnight. And it was fucking insane. And the buzz was crazy. Everyone knew about me. And one of the coolest things that I realized that happened at the time was I let go of this wounded stapler persona, this social identity, and I created and recreated myself as King Raja. And it felt like I escaped myself, you know? It felt like I had escaped the past, and I'm like forging this new future, this new opportunity, this new way of life. And it was insane, man, to go through that, to be like the firsthand witness to that. You know, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the first video that dropped. I'll never forget how quick that rise into fame was. It was fucking insane, dude. I love that shit. I love that shit. Working hard and then it paying off after never giving up and just keeping on going. All those hours making shitty videos, they paid off to make the final video that blew me up. I say all of this to say that my YouTube journey didn't just start and end there. I went on to create some of I consider some of like the most creative fucking projects. So what I would do is, for example, let's take a video like the Dank Ballad of King Raja, right? So this video was all created within SFM. So at the time, I had been working with this SFM artist named Omega Brat, right? So shout out to Omega Brat, really good SFM creator. He was initially Scott Jazz Boy, but I bought him from Scotcha, and he worked for me for a very long time. He made a lot of my animations that you see on the King Raja channel. So when I made the Dank Ballad of King Raja, I basically SFM'd 2 different things. I directed a scene where I was rapping as King Raja, and then it goes into the 2 Chainz birthday song, which I parodied as the character, and then at the end, I ended with the sock puppet opera of, I think, like some famous fucking composer. I'm forgetting, I think Beethoven. I did a sock puppet opera to end off that fucking epic of a video. Like, I look back at that content, and then all the other videos that I made following that and before that, and I can just tell you right now, dude, I poured my heart and soul into these fucking videos. They were so weird. They were so different. They were so unique. They were so original to who I was as a person. But at the same time, I had developed this fan base of people that began to really appreciate who I was. They started to really appreciate my humor, and I just kept growing, and I just kept growing and growing and growing. And one of the highlights, honestly, one of my favorite parts of that entire stretch of King Raja content, although there's a lot of different highlights, this is probably the one highlight that I think is dope as fuck. So I had managed to organize the first ever pro versus YouTuber matchup in TF2 history. I got the best competitive team in TF2, which is 4G, Banny and his whole crew. Shout out to them. And then I got all of the biggest YouTubers at the time, Muselk. I got me. I got Uncle Dane. I got a bunch of YouTubers. And then I filled in the rest of the YouTubers with some smaller guys to give them recognition. Again, a lot of things that I did back then was me fixing the mistakes that happened back then. Like, I didn't get a chance to collab and grow my channel from a small channel, so I give a bunch of small channels the opportunity to grow through my channel. And so, Pros versus YouTubers was one of those events. And a lot of people saw a lot of fucking growth from that. It was a great fucking event. I remember setting that event up, contacting Muselk, who lives in Australia, making sure his timings work, making sure Banny and his team was ready. And I ended up getting a golden pan, which I think is worth like $2,000 or something, from Bob Splosion, who was the top trader at the time. I got him to give me this $2,000 item, which I used for one video, and then I use for all of Pros versus YouTubers. I hate saying it's epic because it sounds like such a boomer way to describe something, like, oh, that's fucking epic, mate. Well, that just went British out of nowhere. But the point I'm trying to say is that it was legendary more than epic. Like, it was actually a legendary moment for everybody in the TF2 community. Like, it was definitely a fucking highlight for me. I'm so glad that I was able to set that up and create that whole event. A lot of people love it. A lot of people go back to that video to this day. And a lot of the content that I made back then was so fucking, like, it took so long for me to make, but it was so worth it. I remember at the time I was a partnered streamer, streaming TF2, which I'll get to later on in the episode, my whole Twitch career. But when it came to making certain videos, I would, like, for, I think one video, Gold Raja Gold, what I did was I would go to different TF2 streamers that were super small, and I'd go duel them inside the game to get their reactions to me killing them with a golden frying pan. The whole video was based around the concept that I had a golden frying pan. And right as the video starts, there's like this ominous voice that comes in, and the voice is none other than Paula Dean with the Burning Team Captain, which is one of the most expensive hats in the game, riding a fucking golden frying pan in the middle of fucking space. Like, I remember like editing this shit in Photoshop and putting it up, and it was the most like meme-tastic video ever. It had this Indian song playing in the background, and man, that video was fucking fun as fuck to make, man. That was such a good video. And I remember Uncle Dane showed iDubbbz that video, and he liked that video. He follows me on Twitter, and fucking, like, that was crazy that connection happened through that video and through Uncle Dane. Like, a lot of the people, a lot of the fame, a lot of the things that I had culminated through my career was because of me doing shit like that. Like, me creating content to like a level that no one else was making at the time. I spent so many fucking hours doing that shit. And ultimately, to my, not to my surprise, but ultimately I got no money for any of that shit. I didn't get paid for any of it. I got very minimal money. Because I wasn't focused on view counts. I was more so focused on just creating like dope fucking content. And I'm so glad I did that because it built the fan base that I have today. And I know that if I come back as King Raja, like, I'll still have that fan base. Like, that is how dedicated that fan base is. I fucking love them, man. I fucking love all my fans. And I think the dedication came because they saw the amount of dedication that I put into my videos. And I think because of that, it's like an equal exchange, you know? Loyalty for loyalty, right? I have loyalty to make good content, and you guys have the loyalty to keep supporting that content. I fucking love it. It's a great relationship. I say all of this to say that, you know, I never cared about money. I never cared about views until Meet Your Match came up. And this was like, I would say, like a very dark time in my YouTube career because it lasted. I was getting a shit ton of fucking views and I was making a lot of money, but it ultimately killed my drive to make YouTube videos, because I had went from someone who cared about quality to then someone who only cared about quantity. And I was dropping daily videos where I was vlogging me getting upset at like different things happening in the game. And then eventually it got to this point where I started ranting and fucking ass blasting people. I remember ass blasting MatPat, dude. That was fucking crazy. MatPat dropped this video called Overwatch versus TF2, and I tore apart that fucking video. And that video encouraged every other TF2 YouTuber to make a reaction video. And I remember at the time, hate was like the type of content that got the most amount of viewership. And so like I was on this hate spree. I was hating on everything. I was hating on the game TF2. I was hating on the community because it was just making me money, but it wasn't good content. And at the end, the whole Sin and Delphi thing happened. If people aren't aware of that, I basically roasted a TF2 YouTuber, and I got counteracted by Musulk, who had 1 million subscribers at the time. His like army of 10-year-olds like came to my channel and just tore it apart for a couple of days. And then I don't know, I took a big L like overall from that. The public perception of my content was at all-time low, and eventually I just stopped making YouTube videos. Like, I just stopped. I stopped caring. You know, I really stopped giving a fuck, I think, after that. And I really stopped giving a fuck when I went to PAX Prime. And I remember I was sitting in a hotel room with Uncle Dane and a bunch of TF2 YouTubers. And this is the same day that Musulk dropped a diss video on me. And we were watching this video live, and nobody looked at me in the eyes and said anything about the video. It was that fucking awkward because everyone agreed that I was a douchebag who fucking shouldn't have made that video in the first place. And these are like my best friends even to this day. Like, I can talk candidly about that experience with them today, and you know, it'll be fine. But at the time, dude, I felt like jumping out the fucking window of that hotel. Like, it was so mortifying to sit there and get publicly fucking roasted in front of your friends for like a mistake you made, you know? And man, it was rough. It was fucking rough, man. And I will say one thing. I think that experience, like, it took me out of the YouTube mindset. It took me out of the content creator mindset. Like, I no longer wanted to make content because of that whole situation. Like, I just stopped. I stopped making videos after some time. And I quit for a long time because, you know, that was one reason why I got burned out. But another reason why I got burned out was that I genuinely felt like people only watched me for Team Fortress 2. And if I made anything else, they wouldn't watch me. Like, I genuinely felt that. And I also felt like I was getting burned out on the game itself, and I had no interest in playing Team Fortress 2. And sadly, even to this day, I have zero fucking interest. And I say sadly because people always expect me to say that I'm coming back to TF2. I'm not. Like, I have no interest in doing so. I'm just going to make that very fucking clear. I'm too burned out on the game. I spent 150 days playing that game in total. That means that I spent 3,600 hours. Just imagine that. That's so many fucking hours, dude. It's so, like, oh God, like, it's so much. It doesn't even make any sense why I spend that much time. I think I might have just been AFK in the home screen, which counts for the hours, so I think that might have been it too. Yeah, so, like, I basically felt like I just couldn't make content. I felt like I was burned out. And I felt like, I don't know, a bunch of things happened in my real life too. I got into a really bad relationship with this girl, and that fucked me up for a while. And then I ended up writing a book for all of 2018. And then 2019 was Saint Raja. And then now I'm coming back to King Raja. So, like, I'm slowly coming back. And every year I'm, like, working on being better at dealing with my issues in life and my insecurities. And I'm becoming a better person. Instead of competing with other people, I'm starting to compete with myself. And I'm starting to figure out ways to be better than who I was yesterday. And I'm realizing that in life, this is very important because everything is incremental. Like, you can't necessarily change your whole life overnight, but what you can do is every day make a dent towards success. Because if you look at a span of 350 days, right? If you spend maybe 30 of those days feeling bad for yourself and fucking up, but you spend the other like 320 days like actively like working against those 30 days, you're going to end up with a net positive over time if you just keep chipping away at it. And that mindset was something that was lost on me when I was first making content, right? I was too much in the moment. I was thinking too much about trends. I wasn't paying attention to what I wanted. I was only paying attention to what everyone else wanted, right? And that was ultimately like something that led to me wanting to leave the whole thing. But yeah, this idea of self-improvement was something that I decided that I would embark on as a journey after YouTube was over. And I had no jobs in between. Like, I've had my dad supporting me for the most part, but recently I got a job, which I'll talk about later in the podcast. But let me just kind of wrap up this whole YouTuber segment. So basically, when it came to TF2 YouTube, that is my journey. That is my story. But there's a lot of really awesome people I met. And this is how I'll wrap everything up. And I'll shout these people out. So I'm not even going to say one. I feel like I'm just going to name a bunch of names. And I might forget some names too. But some of the most awesome people I've ever met in this community came from me making TF2 videos and collabing. I met Uncle Dane, who's still my real life friend to this day. I can hit him up for anything and he'll be available. I met Funky, who's a really fucking sweet guy. Me and him had some friction when we first started making content, but we moved past it. He's a really good friend. I can hit him up for any kind of advice. That's another one. Dylan, obviously, you guys know him. You got Jimmy, TF2. I don't know if Jimmy still makes Glassy Gaming. I don't know if he still makes videos. I haven't talked to him in a while. Met him through that. A lot of YouTubers. Muselk, met him through that. Met iDubbbz through this whole thing. Critical Flaw, shout out to him. I was just talking to him the other day. There's so many names, man. I'm like, I hate doing this name segment because it seems like I'm only pointing out like specific people, but I will say that I have met over 500 people doing this thing. UEK Crash is one. I'm just like now remembering the names. UEK Crash, Bob Splosion, Kichi Zone. She did my art. Fantastic fucking artist. Uber Danger, Crunkadile, Winglet. Fucking, who else? Scotcha, of course. Can't forget the boy Scotcha. A bunch of YouTubers, man. Maxbox was one of them. I was there for the Maxbox Redemption saga. I remember when he used to be a hacker and a cheater, and I gave him 5 minutes on my stream to justify everything and to, come clean and apologize. And he started a very successful YouTube career after that. So that was fucking huge. I helped change the public opinion for him. There's a lot of fucking people, man. I can't remember right now. G-Juice, Freddy TF2, can't forget the EU boys. Names will come back to me later on, but if you have interacted with me in the past in TF2, just know that even if I didn't say your name, I love you, and I remember you, and if we talk again, memories will come back, and we'll have a fantastic, walk down memory lane. I remember everybody, I remember everything, and I fucking love every single one of you guys. So if I didn't say your name, don't feel too bad. I think that's probably gonna wrap up the segment. I just kind of wanted to talk about my history with it, all the people I met, sort of my stories in the industry, sort of like how I felt doing everything I did. Now, with all this being said, for the last portion of this podcast, I want to give a big shout out to World of Warcraft Classic. For the last 6 months, I have been hopelessly fucking addicted to this game. Hopelessly addicted. I have over, I have over 50 days played in that game. So I have 150 days in TF2, right? I have 60 days in total played in World of Warcraft Classic, and that was just in the 6 months I played it. So just imagine like how much I was playing this fucking game, like morning till night, fucking 12 hours a day. Not getting any showers, or I wouldn't say not getting any showers. I wasn't like completely disgusting, but it was rough. Like I was playing the fuck out of this game. But I want to shout out this game because I met so many fucking amazing people, and I made so many really good friends that I can still talk to this day. And I remember just a week ago, I quit playing the game. I mentioned this in the RNG podcast, but one of the guys that I was playing the game with, shout out to Brendan, if he ever gets around to listening to this, he got me a job in his company as a house inspector. And so my position right now, which I'm got the job offer yesterday, so I'm really fucking hyped about that. And the job starts on the 14th, and it's pretty good pay for a first job. And I get a lot of benefits, and I didn't have to go through any application process because the guy that I was playing World of Warcraft with, he happens to be the fucking hiring manager for this big company, and he just got me into the position. And it goes to show that it's who you know in the job market more so than what you know. If you got connections, you can get into fucking anywhere. And so, huge shout out to Brandon. I honestly didn't think that after 6 months of no lifing WoW, I'd come out with the fucking full-time position, but here I fucking am. And the great thing about this job is that it's about 1 day of work where I actually have to go out and inspect houses, but the rest of the week, I get to do remote work, which means basically I stay at home, I can take meetings, and I do paperwork. And that means that I have a lot of time to do the podcast. I have a lot of time to work on my King Raja material. I have a lot of time to work on my stand-up comedy material. And I'll be getting paid every week a pretty good amount so I can actually go out and do shit in the world. You know what I mean? And that's what gets me more hyped than anything else. Like having the income to go out and do shit. Like that's something that I've never really been financially independent in my life because I've never had a job besides YouTube. And YouTube only paid me for like maybe the last amount of videos that I made, the ass blasting videos and the rants. That was like the only point of view to where I was making any kind of serious income. So, it was insane. Like I fucking love the fact that I have this job because I can now Twitch stream as well. And I can also do this fucking YouTube thing, man. 4 days of just remote work and then getting paid the whole time. Like, it's truly a dream starting job because it allows me to work on everything else. And I'm so fucking thankful. I'm so lucky my boy Brendan got me. And so shout out to him. And yeah, I just want to update you guys on that. It's going to be really fun, man. And the job itself is basically inspecting houses. So what I'd be doing is like, I'd be going to customers' houses and I'd be taking a look at all the different parts of their house and, noting down all the damages that they have in the house. And this is going to be a really cool job because I feel like down the road, if I ever own my own property, which I will one day, I want to be able to know like what is happening around the house, structural damage, or whether I need to get like tiles removed or shingles fixed or whatever the fuck it is. Like for me to get this job, it's also important to me because I love learning new things, and being able to learn the ins and outs of a house and how to maintain it, I think is like such a fucking valuable skill set, man. A lot of people don't know how the fuck to maintain a house, and knowing how to do that is going to be really dope. I'm probably going to meet a lot of really cool people doing this too. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. The job should be starting pretty soon. And yeah, with the job thing being said and that being out the way, one of the things that I really wanted to kind of do again was Twitch stream, but I don't know what to stream nowadays because I don't play TF2 anymore, but a majority of my viewers come from there. And the only other game that I play is Legends of Runeterra, but I don't know if people want to watch me play that game if you're not into card games or League of Legends, And the only other thing I can think of doing is just chatting, and just like getting on there, playing whatever game I want to play. Maybe like Overwatch. I'm still pretty good at Overwatch. I only play Doomfist on Overwatch, by the way, so I don't know how fun that's going to be to watch. But yeah, I don't know, man. I've been like trying to think of like different types of content I could make streaming-wise. Aside from that, though, one of the biggest focuses that I want to put myself through this year is to get into stand-up comedy. And I think having a paycheck coming in every week is going to help me out a lot because I can actually travel to clubs and afford to get in and watch comedians and go perform my jokes and my material. And it'll be really fun to test that out, man. Like, I just want to get out of my own way and embarrass myself on a fucking stage and just have people boo me down or not laugh at my jokes, make it really fucking weird and awkward, because I think I grow the most when I'm put in uncomfortable situations. I think I excel the most when I'm put into uncomfortable situations. It forces me to think differently. It forces me to reassess, like, how I'm going to be, like, acting in a certain place. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about that. I kind of really want to get into stand-up this year, and I think it's going to be fucking fantastic. I think a mix of stand-up comedy, making King Raja videos, and Twitch streaming along with the job, that should keep me completely booked and busy for the year. And if I can end up saving enough money, I think that's gonna be fucking amazing, man. I just want to save enough. I want to put aside enough money for my taxes, and then the rest of the money just put it into savings, and just stack the fuck up. Like just get a bunch of fucking money, and just have it with me. And hopefully, if King Raja takes off and the new content works, and I get to actually make this a career, I can kind of slowly get out of like doing the job thing, and I can just make YouTube my full time, and I can make Twitch my full time, and boom, now I'm back in business, So I'm excited for that. That's going to be the goal for 2020. Hopefully I can accomplish it. Hopefully all my dreams and everything comes true. And yeah, I'm going to be working towards that this year as hard as I possibly can, With all that being said, though, guys, I don't have much else to talk about this episode. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think so. I think this is gonna be a good wrap up. I've done this same episode like literally 4 to 5 times before, and it fucked up every single time, man. I'm glad I finally got it at like 42 minutes. One thing I just got reminded of was that I read all the comments that you guys put, and I really fucking appreciate the comments, man. So one thing I'm going to be starting to do is I'll take a random comment that I like, and I'll shout you out in the next Raj Radio, maybe even in the next King Raja video or in the next live stream. I'll shout you out in different places. And I think that could be cool. It'll encourage people to comment more. I think another thing that I want to also mention is that if you make it to this far in the video, please let me know in the comment section down below. I want to know who the veteran listeners are, because I've never talked for this long ever, I guess, like in one sitting. So me doing this and me learning how to like continuing to do this like every day, hopefully, it's going to get me better at conversation. It'll get me better at pacing myself, and it'll be better in general for any content I make, because conversation is an art form. So I want to know, like, if you guys make it this far in, just let me know. Just let me know that you made it this far. That'll make me really happy as well. And if you guys have anything that you want me to talk about in the next episode, whether it's like something happening in the world, whether it's something that you're dealing with, because I did Saint Raja for a while, and I dealt with a lot of people's like real life problems and insecurities. If you feel comfortable enough, you should share your problems with me in the comment section, and I'll address it in the next episode. But I think as I continue to do Raj Radio, I'll eventually put like a face cam on me, and then I'll make videos that way, because I kind of want you guys to see this like curly hair that I got going on right now. I look fucking beautiful, man. I look like fucking Fabio almost. Well, he has like long straight hair, but I have like really long curly hair, and I fuck with it. I love it so much. I'm sorry, I'm sounding really fucking conceited right now just talking about myself. But anyways, I feel like I'm just gonna end it off right here. Well, yeah. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this experience with me. I hope you guys enjoyed yet another Raj Radio episode. And with everything being said and done, I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, everybody.